Hey everybody, welcome to Cooking with Lady D on this Saturday evening. How y'all doing? How you doing? Come on in. Come on in. We got a hot night going on here. Come on in. Gonna wait a few minutes. Yes. The way you do the things you do. All right, y'all coming on in. Come on in. Welcome to Cooking with Lady D. How y'all doing tonight? Go ahead and get these pots fired up. We're going to have a fired up evening this evening. Good to see ya. What we're going to be doing tonight, we are going to be making a bourbon whiskey fried chicken. Oh yeah, bourbon whiskey fried chicken is what we're going to be doing tonight. All right? But aside from that, tonight is wine night. Yes. Hey, Sandra. Girl, how is Florida? Girl, you got your glass? You got your wine together? Let me get my bottle. Let me get my bottle. Honey, tonight is going to be a night. That's right. I'm going to be cooking and drinking and talking. Talking a lot of stuff. A lot of good stuff. But tonight is not for no kids now. So if you got any kids watching or kids sitting by you, go on and move them along. Tell them to go ahead along. So I got some red wine here. I know it's not a wine glass. It's really a liquor glass. My dad used to drink out of this glass right here. He wasn't no heavy liquor drinker, but he used to drink. Hey, Glenda, you here, girl? I see y'all coming on in. Hey, everybody. I see you coming on in. Y'all got your wine together. Get your wine in order now. Because tonight is going to be a hot night. Yes, it is. Hey, like I said, if you got any children near you, tell them to go in the other room. Go in the other room. Because we getting ready to talk. We getting ready to do something, honey. Put my wine back in the refrigerator. And yeah, I'm not fancy like y'all, so I don't have a wine glass, but I'm drinking out of a liquor glass. Listen, cheers to you all. Thank you for cooking with Lady D. Let me get me a sip before we get started. Not bad. It's from Sam. It's a red wine. I'm gonna sit it over here out the way. Don't want to knock anything down. All right, so what we're cooking tonight, we are going to be making a bourbon whiskey fried chicken. Okay. Hey, Keisha. Girl, listen. Come on and stay tuned. I see you, Keisha. Share, share, share. Tonight is a hot night. We drinking tonight. We talking tonight. No kids should be on this live, okay? Sit on them kids in the other room because things are going to get juicy. Trust me. But we're going to get we're going to have some fancy deviled eggs. That's it for the cooking because we got a lot of talking to do. So that's it for the cooking. Okay? So for now, I'm going to go ahead on and put my gloves on. The pots are getting hot. We're going to get this chicken in the pot. Because, honey, when I get ready to start talking and bringing up some of that juicy stuff, I don't want to get burned. I don't want to get burned by this hot oil. I got to make sure that I'm doing this first. How was your Saturday? How was your Saturday? Good, I hope it's cool out there, right? Okay, so in this bourbon chicken, what we have here, I had it marinated for about 4 hours. Okay, so what we have, I have Kentucky bourbon in there. I have buttermilk in there. I have Kentucky bourbon barbecue sauce in here. Okay, looking good. Thank you, darling. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, we have this sauce, a bourbon chicken sauce, actually. So that's been marinating in here. All right. So we're gonna keep it moving because, like I said, we got things to talk about. Okay. Oh, I see up here. All right. So the first thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna bring over the flour. Move everything else out the way. Make sure y'all can see. Let me see how I got this camera. Yeah, that's a little bit better. Okay, I'm gonna move everything else out the way. Go ahead on, get this chicken on. Today was a nice day. Nice and cool, honey. All right, so the first thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take this chicken But let me tell you about this chicken. I bought a whole chicken, and I cut it up, okay? Now, if any of y'all was born before 1975, you know good and well that your people wasn't out there buying chicken parts. They was buying whole chickens, and my daddy would come home and cut that chicken up. And that's what I did, whole chicken. All right, so the first thing I'm doing here, I'm just putting it in flour, right? Put it in the pan, cut this chicken up. And it's kind of nice when you cut your own chicken up, because you can cut it the way you want. Now, I know my kids, and I don't know, Keisha, you cut chicken? It's cool here. Yeah, girl, I know, honey, in the South, they have on gloves down here, gloves and hats, Sandra. And it's what, 42 degrees? No, it was like 47 degrees today. And it was cold. But you know what? I'm going to stop talking because guess what? Hey, I'm from the South now. I've been out of New York City for 24 years. And I'm going to say it's cold outside too. So yeah, I'm dressing up too. I'm staying warm. Hi everyone. Welcome to Cooking with Lady D. Listen, I got to give another disclaimer. If you got kids watching, send them cheering in the room. Okay? All of it is not going to be for the ears of cheering. Okay? Cheering need to stay in cheering place tonight. Okay? So that's what we're going to do. 16. Hey, Lolita. How you doing? Welcome. I think I'll be yelling, right? I can kind of lower my voice, right? I'm so used to speaking in front of large crowds. But I think y'all can hear me like this here. That pan is getting heavy. But yes, I just want to get this chicken going. Okay, I want to get this chicken, this bourbon whiskey chicken in the oven. In the frying pan. And then we can start doing part of our talking. Because we're going to go deep tonight. We're going to go deep. It's going to be real. It's going to be real. Okay, and once again, this chicken was cut up, honey. This was a whole chicken that I went on and I cut it up. All right, so this is what I did. Check this out now. I'm going to show y'all my little trick. So I went on and I coated it with the flour, okay? And this is the last part is like the back of the chicken. I don't know. Some people like to mess with the back of the chicken. I'm not really crazy about it. But anyway, so now let me do this here. I'm going to take this chicken and put it back in the buttermilk sauce. 1, 2, 3. And then I'm going to put it back in the flour again. Okay, so it's like a double coating. Put it back in the flour. Move that one over. Get that leg. Put it back in the bourbon and the buttermilk. And I'm going to put that back in. And we almost done. I have the eyes hot. But yeah, honey, I know what you mean, Sandra. Hey, sissy. Yeah, but it is cold now. It's cold. I got my heat on. I don't like being cold, that's for sure. I like to be warm and snuggled up. Warm and snuggled up in my bed. Looking out the window at everybody else being cold. That's what I like. I don't want to be out there being cold. So now I do have 2 pots, okay? Because when it comes to chicken, get rid of some of this on my finger. Certain parts of the chicken cooks quicker than other parts, okay? So I have 2 pots on here. I'm going to get some of this off my hand. And let me see how hot we are. We're doing real good. What we got this on 3. I'm going to turn this one up to about a 5. When you warm up your oil, you want to warm it to a heat that can remain. All right, so you don't want to put it on a heat and then you got to turn it down when you put the chicken in. No, you want it to get in one heat, just one heat, okay? All right, so I'm going to just put this wing in here. And let me see, I think I'm going to add a little bit more flour. I don't think I put enough flour in this bowl. This is a lot of chicken, honey. So just give me a minute here. I'm going to bring my wine back over there so I can sip my wine. But like I said, tonight is going to be a special night, honey. We're going to be talking some stuff. And all I can say is, I'm speaking from my point of view, okay? Everybody else may not have lived a certain way or gone through certain things. But I'm going to share my point of view about a whole lot of stuff. Relationships, marriage, all kind of stuff. We're going to talk. Dating, we're going to talk. Being married, but in a way you might feel you're married, but then you're living single while you're being married. About family. Oh, we're going to talk about a lot of things. I just got to get this chicken on. Okay? So let me just see if this pot is hot enough. That one is hot. All right, so that first one is hot. I'm going to go ahead and put some chicken in there that cooks fast. Okay? There we go, yeah. That cooks fast. It's going in the lower pot. Because the other pot, I have a lot more oil, so it's going to be like deep fried. But this first pot, this chicken cooks pretty fast. Okay? But, where's my wine at? I'm supposed to be drinking and talking at the same time. How am I get my buzz if I'm not drinking and talking and cooking? It's kind of bitter. I like sweet wine. But I'm not a wine connoisseur. So I just picked up from Sam's the wine that said red wine. But it's all right. I got plenty of other wines in there too. I like Moscato also. But I figured tonight I'm going to do red wine because when my doctor told me that whenever if I'm out drinking wine or whatever, don't take your blood pressure pill that evening because what wine does, it lowers your pressure. So my pressure will get too low. So you know what that means? Put that chicken in here, just one. That means I'm not taking no pressure pill tonight. All right, let me put the next batch in the deeper fry. Yep, it's good, it's good. These are the thicker pieces. The wings is gonna go in there. The thighs are gonna go in here. This other fryer is like a deep fryer. I'm basically like deep frying. And we're gonna get rid of the chicken. This thing is going in and out. Other people must be online tonight like me. The circuits are full. Okay, so I'm going to just throw this pan away. Take some gloves off. Clear my area up. Okay, so now this bourbon chicken, fried chicken, is now cooking, and it's going to be delicious, okay? It's definitely going to be delicious. I'm going to just turn this back eye on for a minute. Now, I'm giving you all a chance to get your wine and y'all snack together now. Because when we get ready to start that chit-chatting, you're not going to want to walk away. Yeah, keep freezing. I think the circuits in the area are somewhat full. Sometimes it happens like that, especially during the week when people are working. But when I see it, I basically stop talking. All right, so now we're just going to go ahead on and do these deviled eggs. Now, what I have in this bowl, I have scallops. Okay? There's some scallops in here. And we're going to top our deviled eggs with scallops and bacon, baby. So, in the deviled egg, I already bought the eggs, of course. They're in here. And here's a deviled egg mix. And what I put in here, in the yellow part, I just put some mustard, mayonnaise, sazon, and black pepper. That's it. That's it. Stir that up. And I wanted to have all this stuff basically done so that we can get this cooking out the way and get to our chit-chat. Am I still freezing? I think we're okay now. Let's see here. Hi, everyone. Good to see you. Good to see you. Just reading here. Thank you, Keisha. All right, you guys. If I miss your comment, I apologize. It moves really fast. But what happens is, after the video is over, I always take a look at it. And if you had any questions, I answer your questions, okay? After. But right now, we're going to do this chicken. Oh, my goodness, honey. I've been waiting to conversate with you all. I've been waiting to get into this conversation. And the thing is, this type of conversation is like a taboo in our community. and amongst black folks. You know, a lot of us don't like to share and don't like to talk about stuff. Let me roll that back up. Oh, good. Thank you. I'm okay, Glenda. Good. Yeah, a lot of black folks, you know, we'll go through situations and we keep it to ourselves. You know that whole thing. You better shut your mouth. Don't you tell nobody. Well, go on in here. Stay in here. Oh, you went through that? Well, you keep that to yourself. You take that to your grave. Do you know how many secrets are in the grave that could have possibly made a difference in people's lives for the betterment? But instead, a lot of the old-timers' way of doing things was keep it to yourself. You're going to take that to your grave. Well, guess what? I ain't taking a lot to my grave, honey. First of all, I'm not going nowhere no time soon. Let me just make that clear. Oh, man, it's so crispy. The crust is falling out of the pot. But I just believe that sharing is a blessing. Sharing is definitely a blessing. All right. Oh, what am I doing? Okay. Let me put this scallops in this little pan back here. You'll see I'm all excited. I'm ready to talk. So in this pan, I have some EVOO. So we just going to cook those scallops up a bit. We're going to cook them up a bit because they're going to go on top of the deviled eggs. You know, y'all are so funny because when I go back and look at my videos and I be listening to myself, sometimes I said, what made me say that? Like yesterday, I made that red snap, all right? But when I was showing it, I said, and this is, what I call it, catfish. There wasn't no catfish. Somebody should have put in the comment, what is wrong with you? That's not catfish. And now I'm drinking wine. You never know what I'm going to say. We just going to blame it on the alcohol, okay? Let's do that. All right, these scallops are only going to take a few minutes to brown. But yes, I was excited about coming on today. But once again, now listen, if you get offended easily, maybe you don't need to stay on here, okay? It's not going to have anything to do with you, but you have individuals that don't like to hear certain things or, you know, don't like to fess up to life itself. Well, I'm not one of those individuals, okay? So when I start sharing, honey, it's okay. When I start talking, it's okay. And I really feel like we're going to end up educating one another tonight. But once again, it's hard to do while I'm still cooking because I might get so deep, child, and forget something, let something burn. I'm not trying to do that. Oh yeah, this chicken is looking really, really good. This one here is just about done in this pan. Go ahead and move this one around a bit. Sometimes chicken take, probably put a lot in here. All right, so as soon as I take the scallops off, I'm going to tell you a little bit about me because I feel like y'all are eating at my house. And you go to people's house, you want to know something about them, don't you? You want to know a little bit about a person before you start eating at their house. So, I'm going to share a few things about me. I finished my Christmas running around. So now I'm not going to be in the way of none of y'all that's looking for deliveries. I'm not going to be in the way of none of y'all that's going to be online. I ain't going to burn anything. I hope not. Thank you, Mimi. Yeah, I'm not going to burn anything. That's why I'm trying to get this out right now so we can chit-chat. All right, I'm going to take those scallops out because they should be ready to come out. Scallops are like shrimp. Yep, they're ready. Put this over here. Cut that back eye off. Let's see how to put the scallop here. I'm going to move that pot because as long as that pot sits there, you know, you have a gas stove, it's going to still cook. All right. So we got our scallops now. I just cut them up small. We have our scallops. Hey, cuz. Hey, Cassim. How are you? We are making brandy whiskey brandy whiskey, fried chicken, and deviled eggs. But aside from that, we're going to be going into some deep conversation tonight. So once again, y'all got any little cheering around you? I'm going to ask you, when we get started, have those kids go in another room. Because this conversation is not going to be for children. Okay? This is one time where kids need to stay in the kids' place. This is going to be one time. It's going to be a good night. Okay, so I'm just doing a little deviled eggs here. Putting the mixture in. And deviled eggs are fun and easy. Let me just check this chicken again. Like Glenda said, don't let nothing burn. Oh, this is nice. My goodness, I smell the bourbon. Oh my God. I smell it and it smells so good. And this chicken, once again, is so crispy. Y'all know if I'm going to fry chicken, honey, it's going to be crispy, that's for sure. So I'm going to start taking it out. Yes. Let that one sit for another minute. And of course, the smaller the pieces of the chicken breast are, the quicker it cooks. I'm just trying to look for a place for this tray. Alrighty, we got another one coming out. And we got another one coming out. They're looking pretty darn good, right? Oh, but honey, y'all should smell it. Oh my goodness. It's smelling so good. It's smelling so good. So darn good. Okay, this pan is almost done, and then we just have to wait for the other one. I think I'm going to remove some of the other chicken and put it in this pan. It may cook a little better, actually. All right, this one can come out. Look how pretty brown those are. So these are, since I cut a whole chicken. Hey, Cynthia, I see you came on, honey. So we have the whiskey bourbon fried chicken and buttermilk whiskey. Buttermilk and the bourbon whiskey. And it smells so good. And like I said, I bought a whole chicken. A whole chicken. And if you was born before 1975, you know your people did not go in the store and buy chicken parts. Like I'm going to buy chicken, just chicken wings or just chicken breast. I know my folks, they bought the whole chicken. And my dad would get in that kitchen, honey, and cut that chicken up. Oh, this one is good too. Wow. So these are the chicken breasts that I made into chicken strips. And that's the advantage when you buy a whole chicken. You can, I'm going to take some of this out in a minute. Let me just, wait a minute. I'm going to put some of that chicken in this pan because I think this pan, for some reason, it cooks quicker. All right. Wow. Now this is what you call good chicken, honey. Crispy chicken. I'm going to leave you in there for a minute. I'm going to take this one. Bring you over here. Ooh, kind of hot. Yeah. Yeah, okay, so this pan cooks a little better. I was thinking that this other pan is going to cook it quicker because I was trying to like deep fry it. So that's what's going to take a while. Okay, so this is the only one I'm going to bring over. Yo, look at that. Don't that look good? Hey, cuz. Hey, Jeanette. Here, what you're looking at here is bourbon whiskey fried chicken. We did a bourbon whiskey before, but we did that on a chicken thigh. And that chicken thigh was baked in the oven, I believe. Yeah, it wasn't fried. All right, so once again, I'm going to give you all disclosure. If you got young children near you, send them babies in another room. Because once this chicken get done, we're going to get into some deep conversation, some real stuff. Yeah, I'm not going to be standing over the stove when we do this. We getting ready to move to another part of the house. And we're going to really get down to some real talk. Real talk. There we go. So there's the deviled eggs. And I'm going to take a few pieces of scallop and put on top of the deviled eggs. A few pieces of scallop, put on top of the deviled eggs. Turn this here chicken leg again. That leg cook. And then I got some bacon bits also that I'm going to put on top of the scallop, put on top of the deviled eggs. So we have scallops and bacon bits. And as you see, I only did 2 eggs. I only made 4. We bought my chicken wings. You bought 29 cents a pound before they became popular. Oh, from Gal. So wait a minute now. You in Florida now. So how'd you get that food down there? Y'all put it in a freezer? You travel with it in a freezer? Oh yeah, that was smart. Now I'm putting some bacon bits on here as well. So this is, I guess you can call this a loaded deviled egg. This is a loaded deviled egg, honey. That's what this can be called. Give me one moment here. Let me get something to put these deviled eggs in. 1 minute. Okay. Go ahead and put deviled eggs on this little tray here. Okay. And I'm just going to take a little bit more of the scallops and just get them around. That's it. That's it. Put some scallops on around the tray here. These are going to be our deviled eggs topped with scallop and bacon bits. Give me one moment here. Come on, chicken. Let's do your thing now. All right. We got another piece that's ready. Turn you over. Talk about crispy and crust. I don't know what's going on with this here. I'm going to take this one out too. You know, sometimes some pots cook better than other pots. I was talking about back in the day. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, back in the day, you absolutely right, honey. 29 cents a pound. Them days seem to be gone. But I did see. What's going on here? I don't know what's wrong with that pie. I'm about to switch pots. What the who? Come on, Rachel Ray, you doing me wrong. I don't like the way this is turning out in that pot. These are Rachel Ray pots here. I'm going to take all the chicken and put it in the larger frying pan. It seems to be cooking better over here. I don't know what's going on with that other pot. Actually, I don't think I ever fried chicken in that other pot either. So we're going to turn you off. And go ahead and move you to the back. Go on in the back. You're not doing us no justice. Move on to the back. Get to the back. Okay. So. Come on. So we would have been done if I had put everything in one pot. All right, so we're almost done. Let me get a little bit of paprika. And just drop open on the deviled eggs. Man, yesterday, honey, when I did that seafood Friday, whoo, God, that food was so good. I made grits this morning, cheesy grits, and I put the shrimp from yesterday on it because it was a lot of food. But the deal is, I like eating seafood the same day. It wasn't bad, but I like eating seafood the same day. A little bit of paprika. All right, we're gonna get a little bit of parsley on there. And then we good. And we are good. And this other chicken is just about done. But yeah, you know, I just feel like when you're in my kitchen, you're in my house. So it's kind of nice to know something about the person who food you eating or going to be making a replica of. All right, baby. There go our deviled eggs. Y'all like that? It has the scallions and bacon bits on top. Okay, so give me a moment here. Okay, we'll check on this chicken. Come on, chicken, we got things to do. We got things to do around here, waiting on you. Oh yeah, this pot is much better than that other pan. It looks so nice. Nice and crispy. Okay, so the only thing we got going on now is we're waiting for the chicken to finish. So I can at least start giving y'all a little bit of teaser. Who's eating this food? You know what, Jeanette? Honey, my son said he's coming by tomorrow. But if anything, at least with fried chicken, I can put this in the freezer and then put it in the air fryer or the oven, and it'll get crisp all over again. But yeah, that's who's eating all this food. I still got just a little bit of food. When I first started this cooking show a couple months ago, remember I was putting everything in the freezer? So like when I'm not on here cooking, what I did, I just would go to the freezer and pull out a meal, which was kind of fun. Because that way I didn't have to cook every day. All right, so while this chicken is cooking, how y'all doing? Again, we're going to get deep tonight. All right, so I'm warning y'all. But for starters, we have a lot of visitors and newcomers that are on our that are on the cooking channel here. I want to say welcome, welcome, welcome. Yes, so y'all know me. I'm Lady D. I was born and basically raised in New York City, in Queens, New York, actually. But I moved to Charlotte, North Carolina in 1997. So I've been out of New York City for going on 24 years. 24 years. So it's kind of funny because when I go back home, people say, girl, going back home. Yeah, we can hear that southern dialect in your voice. You ain't no New Yorker no more. But that's all good. So yeah, so I grew up in New York and I went to Springfield Gardens High School. I graduated from Springfield Gardens High School. And I met my first love. I think I shared this story. He lived around the corner. And I met him when I was 14 years old, right? So we dated on and off. Y'all know how that go. Y'all know how that go. You date on and off. Hey, Amber, how you doing, honey? So I met him, and by the time I graduated Springfield, you know, the whole thing was, I can't wait to get out my parents' house. Because my dad was strict, right? And I was just like, man, I can't wait to get out my dad's house. Now, I used to take the subway to and from Manhattan because I worked at the Federal Reserve, 33 Liberty Street. Or what is the other address on the other side? I forgot. And I used to get off the bus or the train at Parsons Boulevard sometime. Now, back then, Parsons Boulevard was so nice, okay? Right near the train, they had these sky-rise, beautiful apartments, condo apartments and everything. Once a New Yorker, that's right, girl. Once a New Yorker, always a New Yorker. So I was maybe 17, 18, because I graduated 17. And I would get off that subway, the F train or whatever at Parsons. And that wasn't my stop. My stop was 169th Street. So I probably was going to do something I shouldn't be doing. Probably trying to meet up with my boyfriend. And I would always look at those apartments. And I would say, I want to live there. That's what I want. I want a condo in that same building. I don't have to take a bus to go home. You know, hey, and those apartments were nice at Parsons Boulevard and Hillside. So, when I graduated high school, me and Charles, we started talking, right? And Charles is like almost 3 years older than I am. And chicken is ready. Chicken is done, y'all. So we started talking, and the plan was, when I graduate high school, we're going to move in together. That's the plan. We're going to move in together. Okay, that was the plan. I think some oil is on the floor. I don't want to slip. So, I was like, yeah, I'm with it. You know, we'll split the rent or whatever. So I remember one day going home from work, and that weekend I told my dad, I said, Daddy, when I graduate, me and Charles, we're going to be moving in together. Okay, we getting an apartment. Honey, my father looked at me and he said, you going to be doing what? I said, me and Charles going to move in together. He said, let me tell you something. You ain't going to be doing no shacking, okay? Hey, son, let me say, I remember you guys. You remember us together? Yeah. My father said, oh, no, you ain't going to be shacking up around here, okay? What you better do is go to college and get your education. That's what you better be doing instead of thinking about some Charles, okay? So, of course, now, hey, listen, I'm grown, okay? But I graduated at 17. I was turning 18 that August. But because I graduated, I still knew I was grown, right? Honey, I wasn't that grown. Because I told Charles, I said, listen, I said, I can't move in with you. Because if I do, I know my father. And he's going to disown me, okay? Because he said, you go out there and you shack up with Charles Jr. That's what he called him. He said, I ain't going to have nothing to do with you. Which is probably not true, because I'm a daddy's girl. But at the time, I didn't know. So I said, no, I can't move in with you. Let me get my wine, honey. I need to get me some more wine in me. So, after a while, Charles's family moved to Newport News, Virginia. That's where his family was from, Virginia. So the family moved back to Virginia, and he was an adult. So he had a room. You know how they used to have rooms, right? So he had a room. Let me show y'all this chicken, because we getting ready to go to that table and eat and chat. Look at that chicken. Isn't that beautiful? Honey, it looks good, don't it? Yes. So, he knew that I wasn't going to defy my dad, okay? So he knew, oh, well, hey, I guess, you know, Wardia is not moving in with me. Oh, and that's my real name, Wardia. For some of you who don't know. And one day, right after I graduated high school, that June, one day in July, we was on our way to Coney Island. So we was on the F train. So while we riding on the F train was kind of crowded. Charles gets on his knees on the F train, honey. And I'm looking, so what is wrong with you? So then he pulls out a wedding band. Okay, we dumb like that. Okay, we was dumb like that. He, instead of a diamond ring or engagement ring, he pulls out a wedding band. And he said, I want you to marry me. I'm like, you want me to marry you? So he's like, yeah, I want you to marry me. And I said, oh my God, I was just like, social. Look, I forgot all about Coney Island now. So here I go. I still wasn't 18. I didn't turn 18 until that August, and this was in July. So I'm like, yeah, I'll marry you. Yeah, I'll marry you. I sure will. So I told him, I said, well, listen, you got to ask my dad if it's okay. You got to talk to my dad about that. Because that's the type of dad that I had, okay? I mean, very stern military guy, okay? And it's like, you know, hey, the guy has to come. Oh, my gosh. Let me just take one crunch for y'all. You hear that? And it's bourbon. Lord, I hope I don't get drunk eating bourbon, chicken, and drinking wine. Good gracious. There's the chicken. Okay, so I told him, I said, you're going to have to talk to my dad about that. I'm just stepping away from y'all for a moment while I play this. And so he said, well, what you think your daddy going to say? I said, I don't know. I don't know if he's going to be that happy because he wanted me to go straight to college. So I don't know how happy he's going to be about that. But I'm almost 18, okay? So that means I can do what I want to do. You know how you was like that too. And you, all of y'all was like that. You know, like 18 was the number. Hey, once you 18, you grown, you can do your own thing. So I'm like, well, if daddy don't say yeah, you know, nothing much we can do. We gonna still get married because, yeah, I want to be your wife. Oh, let me get this picture. Because I want to be your wife. All right, we finished show something. We getting ready to move around and go over here to this table. Because we're going to sit down and really get down to the nitty gritty. So wait a minute now. I got to take my wine glass. Let me get my wine bottle. Let me get my wine bottle. Wine bottle. Got my glass, got my wine bottle. Ah. Oh, I'm just terrible. I did not show you all the display together, did I? This is what we did tonight. That's what we did tonight. Looks pretty good? Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and put it over here on this table. I want you to stay with me now. You know I'm not techie. So I'm going to, sorry, I have to leave. All right, enjoy, honey. Listen, okay, so I'm going to go ahead and move this camera to another area. Let's see. Let's see. Make sure we got it right. That look okay? How, you all good? I think that's pretty good. So let me just... Yeah, that's pretty good. Okay. So, hey. So, now I can sit down and really get down to the nitty gritty. So, listen, my whole thing was, yeah, we're going to get married. So I said, but you got to talk to my dad. So what he did, he went on. Let me get a fork. Let me get a fork, y'all. I'm sorry. Okay, got me a little fork. So he went on, and I went home. We got in that, Charles and I came in. I don't know where he's coming from, but it wasn't the same day that he asked me to marry him. So we got to my house, and my father's sitting in the living room, like, you know how back then you have, your family always had their seat. So he was sitting in his chair watching TV, and I said, Daddy, Charles want to talk to you. So he said, okay. So I ain't teased. Oh, girl, I know. I'm getting there. I'm getting there. So we go in there, and so I said, Charles, there go my dad. So I go in the hallway, and I like stand by the hallway so, you know, I can hear what they talking about. So Charles says to my dad, Mr. Conyers, I asked your daughter to marry me. I want her to be my wife. So I know my father's like, excuse me? So he said, yeah, okay, I'll give you some fun. Okay, there go the phone. I'm eating a piece of chicken too. I'm teasing you. There you go. So I'm listening, and my father, he knew the type of person I was, and that's like kind of like, you know, when I had my mind made up and I felt strong about something, I was probably going to go along with it anyhow. So he said to Charles, he said, let me tell you something. I don't want her to get married right now. I want her to go on to college. She's just getting out of high school. But I do know that if I say no, chances are she's still going to go ahead on and get married. So this is what I'm going to say to you, Charles Jr. I am going to give her to you without a mark on her, without a scar on her, nothing. She's perfect. If things ever get tough and you feel that you got to put your hand on her, I want you to make sure you give her back to me the same way I gave her to you. So I'm in the hallway, you know, I'm listening. I'm like, ooh, okay, that's a new one. Ooh. So Charles is like, yes, sir, Mr. Conyers. Yes, sir, Mr. Conyers. So now, time to plan the wedding. So here it is. I just graduated in June. So we're planning a wedding for 3 months later, for October. Here it is. We send those invitations out as soon as I turn 18. All the neighbors on the block was like, oh, she must be pregnant. She must be pregnant. You know how older folks be thinking, oh, she must be pregnant. Here, she just got out of high school, and now she trying to go, you know, now she want to get married so fast. Well, I wasn't pregnant, okay? And after we got married, they was watching me, honey. They was watching me for months to see if I was going to show up pregnant. But I didn't. It was 5 years later before I had my first son. But in between those 5 years, keep in mind that I got married at 18. He was 21. So when you're married that young, it's not going to be a bed of roses. I mean, that's just not life. It's not going to be a bed of roses. It's not a bed of roses when you get married when you're older. So can you imagine at 18 and 21? Okay, yeah, it's love, but you still got so many of your peers that are not married. So when you have peers that are not married and you're the only one, you're going to always have somebody pulling you. Somebody pulling you. So my father paid for a wedding. At first he said, I'm going to give you a wedding, but you're going to get $1,000. That's all I'm giving is $1,000. So I cried, I can't do nothing with $1,000. What can I do with $1,000? And next week he said, okay, $2,000, and that's it. I do mean it. You're not getting another penny. Oh, I can't do nothing with $2,000. Yeah, he spoiled me. So it ended up going, I don't know, maybe about $5,000-$7,000 back then, but that was a lot of money back then. And we got married in Brooklyn and had a reception at Rochdale Village. We rented a room at Rochdale Village. Well, during the time we were married, honey, about 3 months after we were married, remember I'm 18, he's 21. Honey, we break up. Lord, hey Linda, how you doing, girl? Honey, we here eating some bourbon chicken and some deviled egg with, come on y'all, help me out now. Look, I'm drinking this wine. Okay, what's on here? With scallops and bacon. And I'm drinking wine, and it tastes doggone good too. So about maybe 2 or 3 months after we got married, well, we had a 2-family house in Laurelton. So Charles and I lived upstairs. Honey, we broke up. No, we lived in the basement at that time. We broke up. I didn't know how to tell the family that me and Charles broke up. I didn't know how to tell. Because I'm like, Daddy didn't want me to get married in the first place. He was already arguing about wanting to pay this money. And boom, what do? Get married, and me and Charles broke up. And that must have went on the breaking up, back together, breaking up, back together. I don't know. A whole lot of time when you're young. But we always found our way back. Okay? Fast forward. Charles passed away in 2008. Okay? We got married in 1978. So he passed away in 2008. Okay, hello, I mentioned how many things going on. Just 2 things going on, 2 foods right now with some of the best wine right here. So he passed away in 2008. We were living here in Charlotte. So many of you may ask, well, what made you move from New York City to Charlotte? Well, when I left New York City, I was a bus operator with New York City Transit. Okay, so I was driving the buses. Okay, I did Bronx, the 44 to the Bronx Zoo. I did Brooklyn, Flatbush Avenue. I did Queens. I mean, all over the place. And I just wanted a better life for my kids, per se. You know, I wanted to give them more than I could have afforded to give them in New York City. And at the same time, my dad had passed away. Oh, thank you. How you doing? Yeah, so my dad passed away in 1984. So by 1997, I didn't have a really good relationship with my family in New York City. Okay? So I felt a lot of pressure, and it happens like that in many families. When you have someone who's like the head of the family and they're no longer with you, many times that family falls apart. You know, many times it falls because my dad was the glue, excuse me, that held the family together. So I just felt like I was alone in New York, you know, with the kids and everything, and for different reasons, like I said, I wasn't getting along with the family. I just wanted to go. I didn't care where. I just wanted to get the hell out of New York, okay? I just wanted to say, you know what? I'm done. I need a fresh start. So my friend Lisa and Sandy, we went to school together in Queens. They had already moved to Charlotte. And I came down to visit them a couple of times. And I said, you know what? I'm done. So people would say to me, you gonna leave that job at Transit, all that money you make now? I don't know if a lot of you know, but bus drivers in New York City make a lot of money. Okay? We made a lot of bucks. It was nothing to make $80,000, $90,000 a year. That's nothing, okay? Even though I used to look for the shortest run because I didn't want to I didn't want to be on the bus that often. But people would say, you're going to leave that good job and you're going down to Charlotte. You're not going to get that in Charlotte, so on and so forth. Oh, MTA, there you go, honey. Listen, what part of MTA? I was the buses. Were you driving or you down underground at the trains? Yep, so I said, you know what? I'm done. And then my son was in junior high school. Subways, there you go. I know a lot of my friends just retired and they moved south with all that money y'all up there was making. Well, my son was in junior high school, at junior high school 231. And in my opinion, he wasn't doing nothing but breathing air. Okay, I mean, I sent him to a private school, 7-day Adventist for a while. That was like $500 a month, but it was very expensive. And then when I put him over to the junior high school, hey, Josie, how you doing? At 231, my son wasn't doing nothing but breathing air, okay? So it was like, I'm not trying to stay in this city. Number one, for my son to get caught up in the belly of the beast, I wasn't trying to do that. I done seen so many boys his age that got caught up. Number two, I was not in a good place with my family, okay? My mom, my brother, and them. It's only two. It's just my brother and I. I only have one. I don't have any sisters. I have a cousin Lolita. We grew up together as sisters, but I only have one brother. But I was not in a good place after my dad passed with my immediate family, so I just wanted to get the hell out of Dodge, okay? So I went on ahead and I said, yes, I am leaving transit. So I did some planning, and Charles and the kids and us, honey, let me tell you, honey, I'll never forget. It was the 29th of March, 1997, okay? We got on that Greyhound bus, and we was heading on 95, coming on to Charlotte, okay? We had the movers at the Rib Shack. There's this place called the Rib Shack on Linden Boulevard. They sell restaurant food as well as they did moving. And what they did was they would have big trailers and they would come down to Georgia to get watermelons and so forth and bring it back to New York. So if you were moving south, they would go ahead on and move you. Honey, packed up, had to move that furniture on down here, honey. And you know what? I never looked back. I never looked back. I love New York City, but I was able to, we were able to give our kids at the time the lifestyle that we felt we wanted, okay? Own bedrooms, own bathrooms, clubhouse, swimming pools, that kind of stuff. For pennies. Yeah, fine. When I came down to Charlotte, no, I wasn't making that kind of money that I made at New York City Transit. Definitely not. But see, what I learned in life is this. It's not how much you make. It's basically what you do with your money. That's the key, okay? Because you can make a lot of money up north. By the time you get through paying them taxes, them union dues, the transportation expense, and now I hear tolls is almost $20. Woo! So it depends on what you actually do with your money. So I left there and I came to Charlotte, and I did start working with Charlotte Transit only for a minute. Okay? And it's funny because while I was in training, they told me I wasn't going to be there long because, let me tell you something. Transit drivers in New York City, we had it made. You hear me? We had it made, okay? Every last stop, there was a bathroom. Every last stop, end of the line. And it's normally a mall or a restaurant that the union paid for. And hey, I used to, let's say, drive towards Queens Boulevard, last stop. Yeah, it was probably 12 degrees outside, but that's okay. I got about 18 minutes before I got to pull out again. Honey, I would get off that bus, lock that door, go in J.C. Penney, buy me some pantyhose or some kind of stockings or whatever, because I was going out that evening. And then come back on the bus with snacks and drinks. Charlotte, it was a different story, okay? They did not have restrooms for you at the end of the line, and you better not get caught with a bottle of anything, no water, nothing in your window. So I was spoiled, okay? And hey, and you know that is the Ayana, honey, you know it's the truth, honey. New York City, listen, you gonna get paid, and sometimes we complain when we were working for transit, but we got away with a lot in comparison to other states. Okay, so after being in Charlotte for a period of time, Charles got very ill. He was diagnosed with cancer that September of 2007, and he passed away May 2008. Don't start me crying on this live, okay? So it was a real quick thing. It was a real quick, like 7 months. And the thing is, he was a trucker. And for years, he hauled asbestos. But back in the 80s, OSHA did not, I don't even know whether OSHA existed, but it was not implemented to have protective gears, okay? No restroom girl for transit now. I mean, in Charlotte, you got to figure it out yourself. Yeah, so he was, Yeah, so he hauled asbestos, and there was no protective gear orders in place at that time. So a lot of truckers who hauled asbestos, I mean, 20 years later, they end up with lung cancer, okay? So it was a very rapid thing, and boom, okay? But we did go back to New York just for a minute because he really wanted to go back to New York during the time that he was ill. He wanted to go back there because he thought maybe, you know, there were better doctors there and so on and so forth. But he was at the best. Sloan Kettering in Manhattan. He was at the best. But, you know, it was his time. Okay, it was his time. God said, listen, wrap it up. You're coming back home. Your vacation is over down there. Let's roll. So he had to go. So during the time we were in New York for a short while, I started working with NYPD. Okay, I started working with the police department. If some of you see it on my Facebook page, you see me with the police department. I got friends here on my Facebook group that I met too. But I wasn't an officer. My older daughter was, but I was working in the precinct during roll call, okay, for NYPD for a period of time. But I missed Charlotte. And after Charles passed, New York City was too expensive for me. It was just, I just could not afford it, okay? So I said, nah, I'm out of here. I'm going home. So came on back to Charlotte in 2008. And then I got into the school system, okay? And I was an educator for younger children, kindergarten and first grades, okay? I did that for a while. But aside from that, let me get to some of the juicy part. So, my 50th birthday came up in 2010, 2 years later. And my kid said, I thought I was going to eat and talk with y'all. I think, listen, the food is good, okay? The food is good, but I'd rather talk and drink my wine if it's okay with y'all. So, in 2010, my 50th birthday was coming around. And my kids were like, Mommy, we know how much you like to have parties. We're going to give you a party. And I'm like, no, I don't want a party because I'm not going to have anybody to dance with. That was my mindset. You know, who's going to walk me in? I'm not going to have anybody to dance with. But they were adamant about that. My kids are somewhat protective over me. So they were very adamant. They said, no, we're going to give you a party, Mom. I said, okay. I said, now listen, if y'all give me a party, you know me, honey. Y'all going to have to do it right and do it big now. Come on. So they took me to David Bridal. And I got this beautiful Cinderella gown. And they rented a place out in the university area of Charlotte. We had 125 people. They came in from 5 different states. They booked the room at the floor at the Hilton for people to stay and everything. So it was a really nice party. Now, after the party, here goes. I'm telling you, we getting ready to get into some serious juice. Send your kids out. After the party, excuse me, my friend Sandy. Sandy's on Facebook, so I don't know where she's at tonight. But Sandy said, you know what, dear? You're too young to be by yourself. And I'm like, no, I'm good. You know, listen, I got my kids. I have my grandkids. You know, I said, I'm good. I don't, you know, I'm not fiending over getting into another relationship. I'm good. So she says, no, I think you need to go on Black People Meet. All right, y'all done been on those sites. Stop lying. Stop lying. You know y'all been on those sites, too. You know y'all have been on those sites. So, at that time, I wasn't familiar with any dating sites. Come on, it was 2010? I'm like, what? So she said, yeah, go on Black People Meet and you'll probably, you know, meet a nice friend. So I thought about it. I said, okay, you know, maybe, you know, a nice friend would be okay. So I go and I tell my daughters, I said, listen, I'm going to sign up on Black People Meet. I ain't tell my son yet. And all of my kids were adults, young adults in their 20s. Oh, Sandra, stop your story. Listen, you know you've been on Black People Meet, child. You probably been on Tinder, Tinderoni, Black People Meet, Christian, all of that. You know you've been out there, girl. Well, excuse me. I had my girls help me set up my profile. So the profile picture was set up with the gown I wore for my 50th birthday, right? So I go on there and I paid $14.99 because I was not trying to do no 6-month, 1 year thing. I said, I'm going to pay for 1 month and 1 month only. That's it. So I paid for 1 month. So I go on there. My profile is on there. So I'm screening through. Let me see. I still haven't been on the sites. I'm checking. Girl, listen. After you hear my story, you might really be checking, but that's okay. Go on there. At least after you hear my story, you'll know exactly what to look for and what not to look for and how to look for things. So I go on there and I'm going looking through, and these guys got names like Big Joe Blow, Tom Strong, the crazy way out name, Cowboy Henry. I'm like, who in the hell? What is you? Who is you? Okay, what are you trying to say? So I said, I'm going to bypass all of those individuals that's coming up with this big black jack name, all this, horseman. Okay, now I ain't that kind of chick. Okay, horseman. What the hell is a horseman? Okay, so I'm looking. So I'm like, new to this stuff. I'm like, horseman. What is a horseman? So I said, no. I'm gonna keep on flipping past those names like that. And then it said, don't forget yes, we did, girl. Yes, we did, girl. When I'm getting ready to share that conversation, Linda, we had that conversation. So I said, another thing I'm gonna do. Excuse me. I'm going to pass anybody that don't have a picture. Why are you out here if you don't have a picture? Huh? Because you living with somebody or you got a wife. You here sneaking and creeping. I ain't stupid. You sneaking and you creeping, okay? Now, I may have been married and locked down for them years, for 29 years. In between those 29 years, we done had some separations now, okay? We done had some we found our way back each time, but we done had some separations. So, hey, I done tested the waters. Listen, ain't no marriage perfect. Let me see. I got a lot of free dinners from that site when I was in Los Angeles. Girl, I bet you did. Girl, you know you bad. You know you bad, Cynthia. I know you did. But honey, since I had tested the waters, I had an experience in testing the waters, during the time my husband and I separated for some periods of time, I kind of knew what was what out there. I wasn't wet behind the ears. So now this is still the first day. So I'm scrolling through. Wait a minute. I know this person. I saw a face that I recognize. I'm like, wait a minute. He was my manager when I was working for Allstate, okay? I said, what is he doing on here? So I'm being nosy. So I'm reading the profile and I'm saying, oh my God, he's divorced now, five years, da-da-da-da-da-da. So I'm just reading. And the thing is, I didn't even like him as my manager. I couldn't stand that man. I thought he was a beast. Couldn't stand him as a manager. So what I did not know is that anytime you click on somebody's profile, they get a notification that you looked at their profile. Honey, so I'm sitting there, a little computer, no big fancy computer. Okay, this is 2010. So we just had a regular little desktop, and I'm like this here trying to figure things out. So my daughter comes behind me and she says, Mommy, you know that as soon as you click on someone's profile, they're going to know that you're looking at them. Honey, I pushed the chair back. I said, oh my God. So she said, what is you pushing the chair back for? That ain't going to help. They already know. I'm like, oh, daggone it. Well, about 3 minutes later, he sends me a smiley face. They send you these little emojis, okay? So he sends me a smiley face and says, hi. So I didn't say nothing, right? Because I'm like, oh, God, why is he here? No wonder she left him. Oh, I couldn't stand him when he was my manager. And he on here looking. What you looking for? What you looking for? Hey, Wakil, how you doing? So I'm like, oh, what is he looking for? So then he sent me a message. And he says, hi, I'd like to get to know you better, if it's okay. So I'm saying to myself, he doesn't recognize me. Because it had been like 5-6 years since I worked for Allstate. So I said, he doesn't even know who I am. That's what's going on, So I, typed in back and I said, I put his real name. I said, hi, blank, blank. I ain't gonna tell you his name. To protect the non-innocent. Because I'm the innocent. He's the non-innocent. So I said, hi, and I put his name. I said, how are you? So then he sent me a message back, and he says, how do you know my name? And I says, Oh, let me see. My son says, I gotta go. This is too much for my ears. That's right, Joaquin. You better get off here, honey, because you getting ready to come up in it too. Go on now. You may not be able to take the heat, son. Move along. Move along. Shoo, 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 shoo. So I wrote him back and I said, I'm Wardia. Okay, I worked under you for more than a year or so at Allstate. So then he said, oh, I didn't recognize you. I said to myself, duh. Oh boy. So then he's just starting to just type in, little nice comments. Oh, well, you look wonderful, this and that. So I'm saying to myself, why is he, responding to me like this here? He know I ain't like him when I was at the job. Okay, why are you doing this here? Well, we end up texting back and forth for about 2 hours. Okay, the same day that I opened up this site. Okay. Then he said to me, would it be okay if I came by to see you this evening? And I'm like, what? He said, we can speak further, because, this is totally different now, okay? It's not like we working together or anything like that. So I said to myself, you still feel like I'm dipping the pen in the company ink to me. I don't know about all of that. So I said, okay. So he came, and I didn't let him come in, but instead I went outside, and I told my daughter, I said, write down his license plate in case he try to get me. Because y'all know I'm kidnappable. Yes, I am. I'm kidnappable. So I know they wrote down his license plate or whatever, and we sat out there and we talked from like 11:30 at night to 2:30 in the morning. So I was thinking, wow, this is really nice. Maybe he is a nice guy after all. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe he's a nice guy after all. New York style, girl. There you go, honey. Get that license plate, honey. Draw his blood. Get his blood type also, honey. That's what I should have did. So, after that, now this was in October. So, the next week, he asked me out on a date. I'm glad my son going. It is going to be too much for his ass. So, he asked me on a date. So, I told my kids, I explained to them who he was. I said, I don't really know him outside of work, but I know of him. And then I told my son to, guess what my son said to me? Why you on that site? Why you going on a date? You bored? Why don't you go to the library, read a book, go to the movies? Yeah, he trying to send me to the library. Nah, but you know what it is. They were so protective over their mom. Well, pushing forward, by December, 3 months later, October, November, December, in December, okay, right before Christmas, he asked me to marry him. Yep. Yes, he did. I'm telling the truth. I'm not telling no lies. He asked me to marry him 2 months later. Yep. Now, did I give up the cookies too soon? Possibly. Let me see what it said. Especially by, yeah. So I know my daughters would say to me, Ma, don't give up them cookies too soon. Look, I probably gave up the cookies too soon. I don't know. But 2 months later, he asked me to marry him. So now my mindset was, you know what? This is probably God. Here it is. I'm 50 years old, and he's not basically a stranger. So I know a little something about him. This is probably God, saying, you know what? This is the person for you. Hey, go for it. So I said, yeah. I said, yeah. And January, we got married. Okay. Now, I need to be spanked for that. So what marriage? Girl, you come on. I'm not calling that person name Lolita. I'm not calling that individual's name online. Somebody may know him by name. Not that I care. But so that January, he was like, hey, he was ready to get to that. He was ready to get to that courthouse, honey. He wanted to marry me, honey. And I was just like, oh my God. You know how girls be, ladies be. Oh my goodness. Okay, yeah. So let me just, I'm good. And then that thing coming, that conversation. We grown, we adults. He's 4 years older than I am. So I was 50, he was 54. So it's like, you know what? Yeah, at this age, you know what you want. Okay, I got you. Yeah, you know what you want. Yes, you do know the name, son. And don't even type it in there. And so I'm going with the flow, not realizing that it was only 2 years since I lost the love of my life. So I was still somewhat mourning. A little bit. But, well, I ain't gonna say a little bit. I was still mourning because that's something that never goes away. You just learn to move forward and live with it. So, we got married. But here's the problem. An individual can most certainly keep their representative of themselves out there for 3 months. 3 months is nothing. Now, honey, he put on a show. Honey, he loved my kids, my grandkids. He was taking them to get the grandbabies. Let's all go to the light show. Let's go to the races. Let's go to dinner. Let's go to movies. So I'm like, this is really, really good. You know, this guy's, you know, he's connecting with my kids because he knows how I feel about my kids. You hear that? Everybody plays a fool? Plays a fool. There you go. There you go. Uh-oh. Fall in love is such an easy thing to do. But now, let me stop now. So, that January, we went to the courthouse. We got married. Oh, the setup was so beautiful after the courthouse. McCormick and Smith's, if you guys are familiar with that restaurant, man, he had everything set up beautifully. When we walked in, they had a booth with the velvet curtains waiting. They had the huge menu that says congratulations, our name on it. And I mean, it was just really, really nice. So, okay, I told you not. Let me tell you something. Keisha, Pete, I worked with her at Allstate too. She knows this man too. And she sure did. She said, Miss Wardia, don't marry him. But I'm saying, man, Keisha's my kid's age, honey. What Keisha know? She's the same age my daughter. Come on now. She, listen, I'm going to go ahead and do this thing. But she told me don't marry him. But she saw something that I didn't see. I was blinded. So, I went on and got married. We had a nice little reception. Keisha, you was at the reception at the clubhouse. We had a nice little reception and everything. Honey, 3 months later, around springtime, you talking about somebody flipped the script? You talking about somebody flipped the script? Suddenly, this man was jealous of the relationship that I had with my children and my grandchildren. Yes. Now, this man, intelligent man, okay, he's an engineer, okay, made good money and whatever, but he wanted me. And that's it. He wanted Wardia. He would have given me anything I basically wanted. But here's what has to come with that. Put those kids in the back view. Put those grandkids in the back view. And hey, the world is yours. What? Take my glasses off. What you say? What you say? I said to him, let me tell you something. I'm going to make myself clear. And I will repeat this if necessary. If you ever put yourself versus my children, you're going to lose each and every time. You're not going to win this. You're not going to win. Because I am not that woman who puts their kids on the back burner or side for no dude, okay? For nobody. That you got the wrong one. And honey, let me tell you something. From that point on, it started going downhill. But it was okay because it was a hill that I was ready to ride, okay? So, one thing led to another. That marriage did not last long. So that's why I don't talk about it. I don't talk about it much, okay? But the deal is, hey, I came out on top. That's the thing about being a smart woman. It's all right. It's all right. It's all right. Let me tell you something. When you get in a relationship, make sure you come out on top. That's all. And I'm going to tell you something. Do right by people. There were many times, and Cynthia, you know, and a few other people here know, we were in this private group for just females, and I would be able to vent and share, which was a blessing. I am all about sharing and getting feedback. Glenda, you know as well. You were in that group too. And you guys supported me so very much. Even at the times where I said, I'm not going nowhere right now. Those times where I could have just walked out the door, I said, nope, not yet. I'm not going nowhere yet, okay? Now, it may have been difficult for others looking in to try and figure out. Yes, it was a great group. For others to try to figure out, why is she still there? Let me tell you something. When you got property involved and financial, assets attached, you don't just walk away, okay? That's not what you do. Unless you're being abused. Now, if you're being abused, totally different. If your life is in danger, if you're being abused in any way, oh, you don't stick around. You hit the road. That wasn't my case. That wasn't the case for me, okay? I wasn't being abused, okay? So I stuck it out. Even in the days where I learned that this individual had passive-aggressive behavior, okay? Let me tell you something. Passive-aggressive behavior is a terrible thing because those folks, they suffer from narcissism. They're narcissists, I would say, as well. So they may not say nothing to you, but they'll do something to get under your skin, okay? To piss you off. For example, I said it was an engineer, right? Computer tech, big time computer tech. So I ran a business at my home at this time. Honey, he was out working one evening. He's working, doing an overnight shift. And it was in the wintertime. About 3 o'clock in the morning, suddenly it was cold in there. It was cold in that house. I get up, go look at the thermostat. So it must be maybe, let's say, 30 degrees outside. Inside, it was like 50 degrees. That's cold as hell. That's cold. So I'm like, is this thermostat broken? So you should see me. I'm trying to like, oh my goodness, this thermostat must be broken. Something is going on here. So the next day I said, you need to get somebody to check out this thermostat, okay? Because for some reason, watch this, it gets cold about 2 in the morning, but by the time he got in at 6, guess what? The heat came on. Yes, it was cold in the morning while I'm there by myself. It was cold. I'm bundling up and everything, but by 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning, suddenly the heat comes on. So I'm saying, well, maybe there's something with the fuse or a sensor or something with the thermostat, right? Well, me too. Learn from you guys, yes. So that happened a couple of times. And then I started researching, okay? Because I looked at the type of thermostat we had and everything. I said, let me check this out. Guess what, honey? This dude was monitoring, going to say, you know I'm getting ready to say, the temperature of the house with his iPhone. Yes, was monitoring it with the iPhone. Honey, let me tell you something. You know I blew the roof off. I flipped out when and the thing is, I figured that out, but from going online to figure out, what's going on. Why would it go on and off like this here? And then I remembered. I said, you know what? He's a computer tech. Okay, he's an engineer. And then they spoke about how you can manage your heat from wherever you are, from your iPhone. I said, well, I'll be damned. This motherfucker. Oh yeah, I said some big. I said, so I put some cusses out then, honey. I was so pissed. Man, when he came in, and by this time we were living separately in the same house. We lived separately in the same house for a period of time. We had a pretty big house. The house like 3,000 square feet. So there was times where I would be one part of the house, he's another. It'd be days when I didn't even see this person. So people would say to me, girl, you still there? I'm still here. Don't worry about me. I got this. Here. Don't worry. I'm good. Honey, I said, you know what I'm fitting to do? I'm fitting to. F-I-T-T-N-A. Let me drink some more wine behind this one. So I'm tell you something, buddy. He paid the light bill. I said, I'm getting ready to get heaters. And I'm going to run that light bill out of the roof. I'll fix you. I'm going to put that heater on when it don't need to be on. I'm going to turn it up high. So what he do? Oh, he stopped playing games. Passive-aggressive behavior. Okay? I mean, you got to be sharp if you're dealing with somebody that exercises passive-aggressive behavior. And I know, I've learned that there are a lot of people that do that because I'm a very strong individual. I'm weak in many areas, but I'm strong in the right areas, okay? So it's like my personality is supportive giving and control taking. Okay. That was acknowledged several years ago when I worked at GE Capital. What they did a whole series of each employee to determine what our personality was. And mine is supportive giving and control taking. So basically that means I'm a giver. Everybody that knows me, honey, I will give to you. I love giving. I mean, if you ever came to my house or any party I have, please take that home. Take this home. But in the adverse, oh, I'm not going to drown. I'm not going down. No. I'm not going down. In the adverse, I'm control taking. I'm going to take care of me. Okay? So, let me help you get through this one. As time went by, folks would say, oh, girl, you still cooking and he's still eating your food? I said, yeah, I cook. Every now and then I cook and I'll let him know, if you want some food, there's some food over there on the stove, if you want. So, of course, some of my friends would say, girl, I wouldn't give him nothing. I wouldn't give him nothing. I ain't giving him no food. Why would you give him food as mean as he is? I said, you know what? You don't worry about that. I said, I'm doing what God expects me to do. Okay? So he expects me to be nice. And, vengeance ain't mine. It ain't mine. But, I do believe that you reap what you sow. Oh, I believe that wholeheartedly. I've seen it too often. You're going to reap what you sow. So he would eat my food and eat the food. Well, finally, I was in a place where I said, you know what? Enough is enough. Time to sell this property. Okay? Time to get rid of the property. So, he was in agreement because he ended up not even being in that property after a while. Okay, so I was just in the house, and the house was way too big for myself. But both of us owned the property. But I said, you know what? I'm going to go ahead on and move to Georgia because that's where all my kids were living. Everybody was going to be in Georgia, and I would have been the only one in Charlotte, and I didn't want to be by myself. So, put the property on the market. Now, I am a real estate broker, okay? North Carolina real estate broker. I've been for several years, and I've been in the housing industry since I moved down to Charlotte, 20-something years, okay? So, being a broker, I am very familiar with the laws and guidelines of real estate. Extremely familiar. I've sold lots of properties. I've listed lots of properties. I'm a dynamic real estate broker. They call me the negotiator, okay? Because I can get those numbers right for you. Bam. I'm not sure if I'm going to do that here in Georgia, okay? Because I call myself being in a retirement mode right now. I could become a broker here, but it's a lot of work. Don't fool yourself. You get good money being a broker, a real estate broker, but it's a lot of work. So, here it is. We got the paper stuff going for the sale of our house. And I specifically said to this person, do you have any judgments out there? I asked. So, the answer was, not that I know of. So, I'm saying to myself, listen, if you got some judgment, you may as well come clean because it's gonna come up when they do the whole title search. Okay, they looking for liens, they looking for judgments, they gonna look for everything before they cut you that check as the owner. Okay, because that stuff is gonna be paid off. Because if you have a judgment and you own property, that means there's liens against your property. Okay, well, during this time that we were there, I went on ahead and I divorced him. So I lived in we had divorced, okay? But I still had the house. And because I still had the house, both our names were still on the house, let's say. But we were divorced, okay, by the time we sold the house. So, here go the closing, honey. Time to close, right? Well, I'm a broker, so I'm going to list the house myself, okay? Because I'm going to get that commission. I'm going to get the money from the house, revenue from the house, as well as the commission because I am a broker, North Carolina broker. So why would I give my commission to another real estate or realtor? So, did all the paperwork. I called him, texted him, asked him again. You need to let me know if you have any liens out there. For some reason, I thought he did because of some things that happened in the past. I thought he had some type of lien out there. Again, the answer was not that I know of. All right, no problem. I listed the house. The house was sold in 7 hours. Yes, I'm good at what I do. But the market was good too. So now, the new buyers, they wanted to be in 21 days. No problem. 21 days it is, right? So hey, I'm trying to wrap up everything. He didn't really have anything there because he had already gone, right? Started my Social Security. Very good, Sandra. Well, let me take you to the closing. At the closing, okay, the attorneys, they wrote one check. They wrote one check, okay, for blank blank and me. I said, no. That's not how that works. We're divorced. I need 2 separate checks. One in my name, one in his name. Okay, now they cut 2 checks. Now I'm looking at the numbers because I know how to read that HUD form. The HUD form is the breakdown of all the numbers of how you get to the revenue how you get to your gain, okay, to the check. And I said, wait a minute. Who is this? Okay, I'm looking at his portion and I'm like, wait a minute. That's a lien, but that ain't my lien. That says American Express. And I knew the person had a black card at one time. I'm like, no, that's not my lien. Call the attorneys again, and I said, listen, I said, you're going to need to make some adjustments to these closing documents, okay, this HUD form. I said, that lien belongs to blank blank, not myself. You need to do a follow-up, and you can, well, not even a follow-up. They have the record so they can see who it belongs to. So, of course, they apologized. They said, oh, we're so sorry, no problem. We're going to go ahead and make the adjustment. So I said, cool. Now, wait a minute. Initially, because we both own the house, it's 50-50, right? Not, because he had a lien. So I came out with a lot more. I don't give no numbers, okay? Keep in mind, I was a real estate broker, and he had to pay off a lien. So now they sent out the HUD form. We were supposed to close on the 18th of a particular month. So they sent out the HUD form, one for him to sign, one for me to sign. And then we supposed to close. So I'm calling the attorneys, what's going on? And listen, I'm ready to pick up my check, okay? I'm already out of the house. I was in a hotel, actually, because I was moving straight from Charlotte to Georgia. So the attorney says to me, he said he's not going to sign the HUD form, the settlement form, the HUD settlement form. And I said, what? And so he said he's not going to sign it because you need to pay part of his lien and part of your commission he's entitled to. What the hell is you what you talking about, man? So I said, oh, is that what he said? I said, okay. So then she said, we're still trying to explain to him how this works. I said, no problem. So now the 18th is gone. I'm in the hotel on the 18th. I was planning on leaving on the 19th, okay? Now here comes the 19th, the next day. Bro still don't want to sign the papers, right? I'm like, oh, no. This ain't happening, Captain. Let me tell you something. I don't care what kind of degree you got. I don't care if you got master's, PhD, whatever, okay? I'm educated as well. But aside from being educated, I got skills. Okay? So what I did, I said, I'm going to fix him. I sent him an email and I said to him, listen, buddy, you have now held up the settlement for 2 days. You will be charged $1,500 per day from the first day that you held up this settlement, and it will be coming out of your monies if you don't sign those papers. Now, I made that up. I don't know how true that is. I made that up. But guess what? He signed it and was mad. So my point is, use your head, okay? Don't let anyone speak you into stepping out or making changes in your life. Only you know when you're ready to do something. I know that is crazy, right? He signed that bad boy, and let me tell you something, honey. And then the fool had nerve to call me for about good 3 months, okay, after asking about, can I get some of that commission money? You know what I said? Can I get some heat? Or turn it down and then turn it on when you get home. Can I get give me just a little bit of heat? Just a little bit of heat. The point is, God is good. God is awesome. Okay? So that ended that. All right? So now, listen, I ain't going to keep y'all all night. Oh, my God. We're going to have to talk again. So now, after that, I started dipping my toes in the water again. I said, let me go online. Let me see who I can meet online again, okay? This time ain't going to be somebody that I already know. Go back online and go ahead and meet somebody. But I'm finding that men in our era, I'm 61. Okay, I know I look like I'm a young 61. That's what everybody tell me. I'm a young 61, but I can't go young. I'm sorry. I can't speak to people who are in their 50s or forget 40s. I can't do that. I'm accustomed to having a friend that's older than me, be able to teach me something that I don't know. Okay, so I move when I get ready. I know that's right. So went back online, and I'm realizing that a lot of the men that are of a certain age, okay, and that means over 60, those generation of men, if you're a man watching, hey, listen up, put your ears to the screen, brother. Those men, they are conditioned a certain way where they feel like they supersede women, okay, and a lot of them may be a bit controlling, a bit possessive, let's say, in that age group. This is what I'm finding, and these are the older men. And I think, again, it has a lot to do with the generation and what they were taught from men that were older than them. So I'm like, So I know when y'all saw me on Facebook and y'all heard me tell somebody, pump your brakes, pump your brakes. Oh, you ain't got to pump the brakes no more because I put that thing in park, okay? Put it in park or reverse. We ain't going no further, you know. But then you have other men that, and of course I can only speak based on my personal experience. I can't speak on anybody else's experience, okay? And I know my daughter say, Ma, you need to get off them sites. You just want to argue with somebody. I do argue with them, though, because they so dumb. Some of them so dumb. But you have other men that are of a certain age that have not accomplished anything. That's a red flag for me. Okay? One of my things is you need to have a home. You need to own a home. If you don't own a home and you're in your 60s, what you been doing your whole life? What have you been doing your entire life? Okay? And what that means is every 12 months you got to figure out where you're going to be living. And you ain't coming here to live. Okay? So there's certain precedents that I put in place. And then another thing I find with older men and older people, and this is really important for everyone to know, is that you don't hear people speak about HIV anymore, or the AIDS, or AIDS. It's like in the back of their head. But guess what? It still exists. It still exists. And it's extremely high amongst seniors. Extremely high amongst seniors. Why? Because you'll have individuals, I'm not going to keep saying men, individuals that feel like, hell, I'm 70. I ain't got long to live. They say it's going to take 20 years to kill me. I may as well just go ahead and just go on in raw and do what I do. Enjoy life. Oh, yeah. And then you have women that are so desperate for that affection, for that, I don't know, that bond with somebody, so desperate that they go ahead and fall for it. And again, in the senior community, AIDS is extremely high. The numbers are very high. And you don't hear a lot about it. And, you know, again, the mindset is, especially for the males, hey, I'm already 65. I'm already 70 years old. Hey, take 20 years to kill me. I ain't going to live to get 95. No way. No. So you got to take care of yourself. You got to take care of yourself. You got to love yourself. All right, I'm getting ready to finish it up. Now, when it comes to marriage. Now, again, this is just my take on marriage. Not that it carries any weight. May not have no bearing. Cheers. Marriage is contractual these days. Now, my great-grandparents, who didn't even have birth certificates, how was they married? They were married because two individuals got together and verbally committed to each other and jumped over a broom. They called that marriage. There were no documents involved. They I think great grandparents that were born in the 1800 centuries, or even some of them in the early 1900s, there were no birth certificates. They would write the date of the birth date in a Bible. Okay, so there wasn't any marriage license, but they considered themselves married because verbally, in the presence of others, they committed to being married, and they jumped over the broom. That's marriage, and that's it. Okay, today it don't count. Why? Because not us, but those that establish these marriage contracts and licenses were in predicaments. Whereas, let's say the male died, but he had kids with this woman and kids with that woman and kids with the other woman, okay? But he had property right here. Now, after he gone, all of them start fighting over who owned the house. I'm the wife. No, I'm the wife. No, I'm the wife. Okay? So they had to put something in place to establish who is the legal wife. That's how that is. I can't even find a marriage license. Yeah, that's what it is. So now it's documented, but not to make it spiritually bonding, but to make it financially bonding. Okay? So that in the event something happens, they'll know exactly who to give what to. That's what it is. So I'm not against marriage at all, because I'm not getting married again. Let's say that. I would never get married again. Okay? Have a nice little friend would be good, but I would never get married again, because I don't need that financial security from another man. I don't need that. I'm not having any more children with anyone. But if you're younger and if you need financial security locked in, or if you plan to have a family, yeah, there are benefits in being married. By all means, there are a lot of benefits in being married. Just don't shack up with that person like my dad used to shack up for 20 years, and something happens and you don't get anything out of it. I mean, but if you are financially established, it may not even matter. All right, listen, I love you guys. Thank you for this evening. I just want to say this is the holiday season, and it may be a difficult time for a lot of people right now. Okay, people who have lost loved ones, people who are single and alone. You can be alone without being lonely. I'm alone, but I'm not lonely, honey. You have to find things to keep you interested, find things to keep you busy, and more than anything, find out who you are. Love you. Okay? Take care of yourself. Buy gifts for yourself. That is so important. Buy gifts for yourself. Take care of yourself. Trust yourself. And don't let anybody walk over you. Teach people how to treat you, regardless of how old you are. Because I'm going to teach you how to treat me. You ain't going to talk to me any kind of way. Okay? You're not going to look at me. What? Did you raise your... Wait a minute, hold on. Did you raise your voice? Did I hear you raise your voice? Oh, tone that down. Okay? Tone it down. But you have to teach people how to treat you, but love you. As long as you love yourself and you just know that God is in charge and God runs things, you're going to be all right, even through this holiday season. And if it's a mate that you want, listen, have faith, but just don't throw yourself out there. Just don't give your jewels away just for the heck of it. Don't just give your jewels away. Let me tell you something. I didn't make the rules. I can only say the letters on Facebook, because I don't want them to get me. I didn't make the rules. But P, the letter P, costs more than the letter D. Okay? So that means you are the prize. Make yourself the prize. I love you guys. Thank you for being here with me. I hope you enjoyed this conversation. I did. Listen, I already finished a whole thing of wine. Let me see. That's about a quarter of the bottle. Thanks for your wisdom. That's about a quarter of a bottle of wine that I drank here. And I feel good. I love you all. Have a good evening. If we don't chat like this again into the New Year's, guess what? You're going to be okay. You know why? Because God created you to be special. Here you go. I really, really, really falling in love. All right, let me get myself up, honey. Lord, all this chicken. I'm going to have to put this stuff in the freezer. Look at it. Look at yeah. Look at this. It's still smelling up the kitchen. The devil eggs. But the thing is, what time is it? It's almost 9 o'clock. I don't eat this late. Okay, had a wonderful evening. Love you. Thank you, Cynthia. I had a wonderful evening with each and every one of you that chimed in. And we got to talk some more. Honey, there's so much to chat about. There's so much. And I'm transparent. Let me tell you, everybody going to have a testimony. Not everybody's willing to share. But everybody got a testimony. And I think there's power in sharing your testimony because it lets someone else know that they're going to be okay. Y'all want to see me dance before we go? Okay, hold on. Let me get myself together. Let me see. Y'all know I could dance, right? There we go. Ha-ha. There we go. There we go. Baby, I need your love. There we go. Take care. Good night. Peace.